Hey everyone, today I've got a fun review for you here over all the top end bow sights that I have and have used. I know that there's some others I don't actually have here, but I just wanted to do a comparison through all of them and give you my opinion on which one I think is the best. So what I mainly use the sights for is 3D, archery, and then also hunting. If you're more of a target shooter, you might have some different interests or likes that I've maybe might look for in a sight. The way that I have them set up here is in order of weight. And I know this isn't the exact fairness because this one doesn't have a dovetail, whereas all the other ones do. But the AXCEL Landslide is the lightest. And then you have the HHA Tetra Max, Black Gold Pro, the dialed Archery Arxos, and then the UV slider. And the heaviest is the Spot Hogg, but this is the triple stack version. So if you got some of the other versions, it could be a little bit lighter and might fit in between these. And then also the Fast Eddy, so it has the dovetail. But going through all these, I'm going to go through what I like and don't like about each one. And then at the end, I'll compare all of them and give you my overall pick. I'll go into more detail about each sight individually. So right now I have them organized for the price point. So the Black Gold, this is like the 3-pin version is what I quoted, and it's about $419. And then the Spot Hogg triple stack is right in there and pretty close to the same price range. And all these other ones are going to be in the 5 range. I'm quoting this one as a dovetail and not just the fixed bracket, so that'll change that. But you have the dialed Arxos, the HHA Tetra Max, the AXCEL Landslide, and then the UV slider. So I'm going to go through each individual sight and tell you what I like and don't like about each one. So this is the Black Gold Pro. You can get this in several different pin options. And then they also have the dual track, which is a vertical pin. With this is the dovetail mount. They also have their new core mount for the Bowtechs. But this is an older version here. You can adjust all 3 of the axes on this bow sight, which I really like, so you can really personalize this sight and get it set up exactly how you want it. The first and third are micro adjust, but the second you just have to level this the bubble here itself in the scope housing. But it's really nice that you can adjust all 3 of the axes on it. This is a really well built sight. I like the customization that you can get with any of these. It's going to cost a little bit more, but if it's a sight that you're going to hold on to long term, it's something to look into for sure. They usually just come with either the 0.019 pins or the 0.01 pins. So if you want to customize it, you can have your bottom pin to be a little bit smaller than others. You can get 2, 3, 4, or single pin, or 5, 7, or single pin options in it. So I like that. It is micro adjust windage and elevation, but you do still need Allen wrenches. So that is one downside of this sight, is to lock it in, you're going to want Allen wrenches. You can get your positive stop set at 20, 30, whatever you want. I like that feature of this. I like that the wheel, so the dial itself to change your elevation is kind of out here by itself. You don't have to worry about your hand hitting something else and not being able to find that wheel to get it moved to where you want. You can get different indicators now for it. So you can get a 2, I don't know how many indicators for sure you can run on it, but you can get multiple pin indicators for it. Pretty easy to do sight tapes. Overall, nothing bad to say about this sight. It's worked really well for me, and at the price point, it's a really great option, especially for hunting in 3D. Moving on to the Spot Hogg triple stack. This sight is bulletproof, and I've had nothing but great luck with it. I should have said that on this one too. You can lock this in so it will not move on you. So there's a little lock lever here, so you can lock that down and it won't slide on you. The Spot Hogg is the same way. You can lock that in with this little lever here and it won't move on you. You have triple indicators here. This is the newer version, so you can fit about any bow with that. You can move this windage to left or right to fit any bow. The only downside of this sight is it's heavy, but the reason mainly for that is you have triple pins in here and you can individually move each one up and down. They offer different scope housings as well. They have, I think, 2, 3, 5, 7. It does have a little wire run through the middle. I've never actually personally used that, so I don't know if it helps. But then these scope rings are interchangeable for different outside housings. So that is nice. It's actually supposed to help you shoot better. Personally, it didn't really make that big a difference for me, but that's just me. The one thing too on this Fast Eddy XL is these gears are open. So if that's something that you don't want, you'll have to move up to the Hogg farther, and they are all enclosed in there. Overall, it's a really great sight. You can lock it into that 0 stop, so you can come back to 20 or 30, whatever your top pin is every time very easily. The pins are really well covered in here, and like I said, if you're looking for a bomb bulletproof sight, this is probably going to be the best option for you if you're always dropping your bow or on some sort of really backcountry hunt. The only bad thing is you might have a little bit of weight with this one, but they do offer different pin and scope housings that could be a little bit better, and you'd have a little bit less weight. It is second and third axis adjustments only, but pretty easy to get this sight adjusted and set to you. Overall, it's a great sight. This dovetail is pretty long, so if you're somebody who's looking for a bunch of range out of the dovetail, that might help you, but it is a little added weight for me because I like my sight in as tight to my bow as possible. The next one is a dialed Archery. So this one does not fully lock, so you can always move the elevation wheel. It's just going to get a little harder. But with this brake, I've never actually personally had any problems with it moving on me, but you can still always move it. Several different pin indicators here, so it's easy to set. You can adjust how easily it moves up and down, but it's kind of hard to find that perfect spot to where it's not going to move on you, but at the same time, it's really easy to dial. You can get different scope housings for it, and you can also get adapters too. Pretty easy to switch out from their own brand scope. So if you're shooting a single pin, you want to go to a 3-pin, it's easy to do that. And then you can also switch out your sight tapes very easily with that. You can customize it to your bow, so you can get a lot of different colors of wheels. That is one thing that's really nice about them, is they offer a ton of customization in the sight to match your bow. So if that's something you're looking for and you like everything to match, this sight has a lot of different options to get it to match your bow. You have the micro adjust windage here, and you can adjust second and third axis on it. This is one of the harder ones I found to get leveled. It just seemed like every time I'd have things about right, I'd tighten it down and it would move just a little bit, so I'd have to loosen it up and get it set again. So it takes a little bit more time to get this sight leveled. I do like the 3 vertical pins here that they offer on that. But to me, it's nice to be able to move each one individually. And then I found that the vertical rods seem to be a little bit big in my opinion, or I like the way that the dual track is, where the pin's bigger than the vertical rod itself. That's just personal preference. I still shot this sight really well with this setup. Other than that, those are the main things. And the thing that I didn't like is you have to sight in your 20 first, and then you set your axis after that. And the main reason is you want to have this set to wherever it's going to be on your rail, so you can move this and easily get your positive stop at 20, 30, whatever you're looking for there. Good option. Just for the price point, I think there's some better options out there. Here's the HHA Tetra Max. So kind of like the dialed archery sight, you can switch out the wheels. So if you're shooting different arrows or a different setup, you basically can just pop this wheel off, pop the new one on with the sight tape, and you should be ready to go, as long as you can find your spot where you had it at your 0 before. Really easy to switch out scope housings on this too, especially if you like the UV slider. They make an adapter for that. You can lock the wheel in so it will not move on you. It does only have second and third axis adjustments, but they are micro and easy to get adjusted and get them set perfect. Has dual indicators. Should have said that about these. This has triple indicators. You can get a couple different indicators for the black and gold. And then this one, you can also get the 3-pin indicator. This one only has 2, so if you're looking for more pins or a different setup, like if you put the UV on here, this one's only going to have 2 indicators for you. And they're set, so you can't move them, whereas the other ones you can move, like the Spot Hogg, dialed, the AXCEL, and the UV slider. Same with black gold, you can move them to wherever it works with your setup, whereas these are set. So that's one downfall of this sight. Super easy to set up. I really like that you can get a short dovetail in this, and it's really lightweight. For me, I really like this setup. Easy to adjust. Everything is pretty much micro windage, and your elevation you'll just have to lock in with an Allen wrench to get your stops at 0. So if it's 20, 30, whatever you want your top pin to be. This is their own housing, so the top pin is 0.019, bottom pin is 0.01. So I like that setup, but I do wish it had 3 pins. Overall, it's a great option. I really like this sight a lot. And then now moving on to the Landslide AXCEL. So like I said, I quoted this with the dovetail, so it kind of falls in line with all these other ones. This is just what I had here. It does have the other UV3 scope housing on there. So if you did buy this one regular, it would just be their scope housing on it. I didn't include the price of that. You can adjust all 3 of the axes on this sight. It's not micro adjust, but it is really easy to get all of your axis adjusted really easily. And I like that it has all 3, so you can do your personalization and get it set up the exact way that you want. Has a little red indicator, or a little red bar here to get your stop set for 20, 30, whatever you want it to be, so you can easily just slide it back up, hit that, and you know that you're on at whatever your top pin is, or whatever your sliders that you're using. I really like that it comes with metal sight tapes, so you don't have to worry about rain or anything wearing those off. I did take this on one hunt in Colorado. I didn't have any problems with the sight getting bumped, moved, or anything like that. One thing is with this UV housing on here, I don't think it's as durable as like the black gold or the Spot Hogg, so that's something to keep in mind. Their own, I can't speak for because I actually have not used that. But there's the sight rail and everything itself is really great setup, and for the price point, it's a good option. Moving on to the UV slider. So this is the newest one. It's got a lot of hype into it. The nice part is it's got a built-in sight light. Probably one of the best wheels, I think, for moving your elevation. It's just easy to get it dialed. Really like that the brake is right here. So everything's just really well thought out on this sight. You have the triple indicators. On the AXCEL Landslide, you have 2. But with this one, you have the 3 for your 3 pins. So it's built for their own scope housing. On the scope housing themselves, so they kind of came out with a different pin size. It's 0.015 for the top 3, and then the bottom one is 0.01. I personally really like that pin size. It's nice because it's right in between the 2. Overall, I just wish that their pins were a little bit brighter. I know you have the sight light. I just personally don't like using the sight light. And on some of the states I hunt in, you can't actually use the sight light. So that's an option to think about. If it's prime time, usually it's getting dark, these pins are kind of tough to see. They're not the brightest pins. So that's something to think about. But to move your windage, you pop this out, move it left or right to get it where you want, and then you push it back in and it's set, so you don't need an Allen wrench there. It does not have a positive 0 stop. That's my biggest problem with this sight. So you really have to make sure that you come back and get it set to where your top indicator is that you want it, or the middle, whatever you pay attention to the most. The biggest thing that is a huge selling point for me on this sight is they already have the first and second axis set. So they're set together. So even if you just slap this on your bow, as long as you're holding your bubble level, these two should move in with each other. And even if you're not level, they're still paired, so it's going to move the same way. But if you're out of level, you're going to can't, and your sight's not moving perfectly level up and down, so you might miss left or right. Still have to shoot in the third axis, but it does have all 3 axis adjustments. Just your first and second are set, so you're only going to have 1 adjustment there for both of those, so it saves you some time getting that set up. You can swap out for the sight light. You can have different colors here, so whatever you like there. And on a lot of these, you can do that. Like the black gold, you can switch. Same with the spot hog, they make some different colors there and options for that. Overall, this is going to be the highest end of all these sights I have in front of me, but with some of the new technology, I think it's worth it, but they just need to make a positive 0 stop for me to make it worth that price point. Overall, these are all great sights. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. If you are looking for, I think, the best price and options for your dollar, for me, it's just hard to beat black gold. They're about $100 cheaper, and you can get different scope housings. So if you want to swap them out, you can do that. It's a really easy to adjust sight to get it leveled and everything. And for the features, for the price point, it's just really hard to beat the black gold. And it's a really durable sight, so you don't have to worry about it out there. So the best budget friendly, I think, is, which I shouldn't say budget friendly because they're all expensive, but for me, the price point and what you get for features, the black gold is really hard to beat. What I will probably be running this year will be, unless if something new comes out, and if it does, I will switch to that. But the HHA Tetra Max is just really tough to beat, in my opinion. The only downfall is I can't move the indicators to where I want them. But, you know, as long as I have my top pin set, I can kind of set my other pin for the dual indicator. And what I would do is probably switch this out for the UV3 SE, I believe, scope housing. So the one that comes on the slider, I just really like that scope. So I'll be switching this out for that scope. I just like that I can swap out wheels on this. So when I'm shooting 3D, put that Aros Setups wheel on, and I'm ready to go. When it comes to hunting season, take that one off, put the new one on, and I'm ready to go. It's a really well-built sight. I just really like it. It's super easy to adjust. Not having the first axis isn't a huge thing with me because I can just make sure I hold this sight level, and it works well for me. I would probably go with the UV slider, but they have to put that 0 stop on there. Other thing that I didn't like about this sight is I put it on my backpack to walk into my stand, and if I'm hiking in early in the morning and it's dark out, I have my bag on my pack. And this, without a full lock, has moved on me. And then also not having that positive stop at 20, just because animals move a lot, and sometimes I don't pay attention, and it takes a lot more time for me to try to look and make sure I'm like perfectly back to my 0 rather than just sliding it all the way up. No, I'm set at 20, 30, 40 and good to go. Just really like the scope on it, so you don't have any extra cost. It's set up the way that you want it. They just really need to add that stop on it. The other thing I should have mentioned about the black gold, I think, in my personal opinion, that they have some of the best pins on the market for brightness, going all the way into low light, and even when it's bright out, just the way that they have their pins set up, they're always a really good brightness for me. Some of these other ones, you have some like scope shades, so you can brighten or dim them. I just really like the black gold setup. It just seems like they're pins and you don't have to move anything. It seems like they're always a really good brightness for me. Overall, those are my opinions. I know I didn't cover every single sight that's built. There's a lot of other good options. I just wanted to compare these. I know this is a longer video. I have a video showing each one of these individually, how to level them, how to get them set up. So if you're wanting to see one more and see a little more in-depth, close detail on them, go check out those videos. Really appreciate you watching. This is my 100th video, so I wanted to do something a little bit bigger. I'm very excited that my channel has grown to where it has. It's still not the biggest channel out there. It's still a pretty small channel, so I really hope that you can help me grow my channel. I'm always trying to do new gear reviews and other reviews, and hopefully that you find this to be helpful. My end result is to try to save you time researching what the best product is for you. So please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. It helps me do better reviews in the future. Like I said, thanks for watching and stay hidden. All right, so now